Hello and welcome to another video about SeekerWorks.net, the church management software service from SeekerWorks Incorporated. SeekerWorks.net is web-based, church-tested, and pastor-approved with two websites for the price of one. SeekerWorks.net is for your staff and volunteers to manage the church's information, while SeekerWorks.org is your attendee portal for everyone else to use. Your attendee portal works with a unique subdomain used to publish your tailored website pages through SeekerWorks.net. Switching to SeekerWorks.net for a moment, we can select the Manage Website menu options and show you a quick view of how we created all the pages we published. In this example, we're going to use cccartoonville.seekerworks.org, which is the subdomain assigned to our demo church called Community Church of Cartoonville. We're going to focus the remainder of this video on seekerworks.org. Click this link here and go there. Published homepage is shown here. All of the additional pages appear as well under the About, Care, Connect, and Serve menu options. One of the main benefits of using SeekerWorks.net is our extensive follow-up tickler features strategically built into our software. We want to make sure your guests don't fall through the cracks by routing these follow-ups directly to the person most appropriate to act on them. Under the About menu, there's a generic About This Church page, but also a page for each of the ministries in Community Church of Cartoonville. For example, the Acme ministry is our student ministry. And at the top of the page, you'll notice that there's a button about requesting more information about this ministry. If I click that, I'm going to send a follow-up directly to George Jetson, who's the leader of this particular ministry, and he can give me more information on it. If I go to children's ministry, I can do the same thing, except this time it would go to Stuart Tiddlywink, who's the leader of the children's ministry. Under the Care menu, there's also a couple of options. One is requesting pastoral care. Any of your attendees can use this portal and request pastoral care. You get to set up the contact types. Each of these individual care types can go to a different person depending on who's most appropriate. For example, if we need to do a hospital visit for someone who's sick, select that contact type and hit the request pastoral care. And now we've just sent a follow-up tickler request to the person that does the visitation. Similarly, if we go to the prayer requests page, you can see information about prayer requests that we put in for this particular church, as well as a prayer wall. Now we can create a request to pray for leadership. God lead us with His love. As soon as we hit the request prayer, you'll see that the prayer request immediately appears on the prayer wall. So that means anybody who's logged into the portal can come here and actually pray for all these different requests. If it's a confidential request, it only goes to the church leadership. Under the Connect option, there's ways to connect, which is more of a general page, but also of different classes and seminars, as well as small groups and a volunteers page. In this example, let's first do a spiritual gifts seminar. And you can see this one has two buttons on it. Since there's a class that's upcoming on March 18, we could register directly for the class, or we could ask more about this particular class. In this case, I'm going to register. And it's going to go to a page, which will then say who in my family is going to register. And we'll say Cindy Brady wants to find out what her spiritual gifts are. We also can see that there's a $15 fee for taking this class. And down here we can see the different information about credit cards. Since I've already used this, I can select a payment method, or I can add a new credit card or bank account ACH transaction. In this case, we're going to use the ACH and hit Pay Now. So need an address, and it will go load the payment profile from authorize.net, and you can see a thank you. And Cindy Brady is now signed up for this, and it's already paid for. You can click the Add to My Calendar button if you want to download a vCard, and we have 3 different calendar type options that you can pick from. So we'll pick the Google one. You can see that there's the download ICS down here, and we'll continue. We just received notice of the payment, but let's go back to the Connect page, and in this case, let's pick small groups instead. We're differentiating between classes and seminars versus small groups. Classes and seminars are one-time events. Maybe they'll go for a few weeks, but they have a definite end, whereas small groups will be ongoing classes and Bible studies and that kind of thing. So we'll click on that. I'm going to get rid of this. And in this case, you can see that there's 3 buttons. The small groups are in 3 different small group divisions. So at the top here, I can ask about joining a group in one of those divisions. Or I can come down here and I can see which groups are in each of those divisions, and I can ask about a particular group. So perhaps I want to join the Rebel group, which is on Tuesday at 6:30 p.m., and that's perfect for my schedule. So we'll click Ask About It, and now we just sent a follow-up to the leader of the Life group division with the Rebel group in the follow-up. We could also do the Volunteers tab, which then says, I don't know where I want to volunteer, but help me volunteer. That'll go to Elmer Fudd, who's the Volunteer Resources Coordinator, and he can help the person figure out what their spiritual gifts are so that they can get plugged into where their passion most lies. Lastly, over here on the Serve tab, you'll notice that there's the same ministries that were listed under the About tab. However, in this case, it's going to be about volunteering in those ministries. So, for example, in the children's ministry, I can click on the I want to help somewhere in children's ministry. It's a generic thing. Whereas down here, I can sign up for 2 particular ministry positions that have been set up. And they're saying I need 8 assistants and I need 8 teachers. Or I could go over here to Acme Ministry and I could say I need mentors. So I think I want to sign up for that. So we'll click sign up, and you'll see that it will send a volunteer request to George Jetson, who is the head of this ministry. And he's the one that set up the need for 7 mentors. The portal also contains all the blogs that you might have put in, or you can go to the calendar and see what's coming up. And these are color coded based upon calendar type or event type within the calendar. So I'm just going to go forward here. You can see the March 18-19 has the Spiritual Gifts Seminar, which is split into 2 classes, or 2 sessions, I should say, for the same class. If I click on that, you'll see the same information. Well, in this case, you'll see the HTML that I created for this class and the same sign-up information. Once I go there, you can see that all this information is already there. If I try and re-register with the payment method, you'll see I get a message that says Cindy Brady's already registered, so you don't have to do it again. Similarly, under the Give tab, you'll notice that I can give now, and I can split it up into 5 different gift category funds, and these are controlled and set up by you. If I already have credit card information in there, I can select payment method and do that. Also, I can go over here and I can schedule gifts. In this case, we'll see that I've got 2 things scheduled. I'm going to send $7.50 on the 15th of every month using the ACH account to the tithes and offerings. And then on the last day of the month, I'm going to also send $750 using the ACH to the tithes and offerings. In this case, it's going to be the last day of every month. Lastly, the My Data page lets me look at data for my household, which is linked together to my email address. Only I and people in my household who are linked with an email address can see this information, and we can see that for the classes and seminars, Cindy Brady is listed as one of the students coming up on the March 18 class. Similarly, under giving totals, we can see the different giving units and what they gave to the different gift category funds, and that could be based upon currency type, etc. If I go back to the home page, I can show you a couple of more things. Under directory, you can see that there is a list of people organized by households, and you got 3 different choices. You can list the name of the household with the address. You can say, okay, show me the households with details of who's in it and what their ministry groups are, whether they're a member or not. You can click on their phone number to call them immediately, or you can click on an email address to create an email and send it to them. Lastly, the third tab over is the one that's got the same as the second tab, but it also includes a family portrait, if you've got ones for each of these ministries. So the Brady Bunch and the Buckets and Bugs and Velveteen, all those kind of things. I'm going to go back to the top. If I go to the forum, this is similar to a social media site, except it's limited to friends of this particular ministry. But you've already set them up. You don't have to get their permission to become a friend. They can come in here and share a post. They can share pictures, and everyone else can see that. And it's sorted descending by date. Lastly, the library function will let you browse through what's available for different things. In this case, it defaulted to the small group library. These are different Life Guide Bible studies created by University Press, and I loaded them all in there just for your benefit. If you click on one of these, there's currently a link that would go straight to the NIV Press site, in which case you could buy them. You're not limited to that, but that's an example. Also, I've got another library that I'll call Sunday Messages. In this case, there's 3 messages that I've created, and these are audio. So if I click one, you'll see that it'll create the download. In this case, it's an M4A file, which is audio. And if we double click it.
So if this was a real church, you might expect me to tell you what our mission statement is and break it down into pieces and explain what each piece means. But it is not, so all you get is this recording telling you what could have been.
So that pretty much wraps up the features available through the portal. If you enjoyed watching this video, please subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Thanks.